Well, I guess we'll get started. Everyone, thanks for coming. My name is Dale. I had the privilege of inviting Brian to come to Staple this year. I think it's important to note, because I was surprised when Brian said this, when Brian said his name to someone else, that it was Blomerth.
Yeah.
So that's big news, and it was to me. Brian's got 3 books that you can buy upstairs. They are amazing. They have reached well outside of the comic audience into other spaces. And he's in from Brooklyn to talk about his past work.
So yeah, so I did this talk at this university in England. It was for illustration students that were interested in cartooning. And so I thought it would be a valuable thing. You can see what my work looks like now, online, and there's books available and stuff. But where I'm at now, it's not like I'm amazing or the greatest ever. But I'm a lot better than I was before. So I thought it was fun to show kids that hey, it takes a long time. This is how it actually works. It's you don't just all of a sudden have a bunch of books. You have to do a lot of work before you get to a lot of books. So this is a bit of a survey of stuff that's humiliating and old ideas and embarrassing stuff that I was this will be good for kids to see that it's a nightmare before you ever even make any money on this for a long time. So this drawing starting off, for some weird reason this drawing was the most popular thing I ever did on Tumblr, and it's the worst fucking drawing of this cat I've ever done. And this that's supposed to be a cat. And this dog guy, his nose is broken, basically. I don't know why his nose is snapped down like that. It's not a very good drawing, and I do not know why. Look at how stubby that fucking tree is. This drawing, you can see certain things that I still do, because also I draw straight in ink. So I am. It's funny how when you draw straight in ink, you don't improve the normal way. I don't think, where it's you draw stuff and then just figure out the right line. I just draw stuff and however it comes out, that's how it comes out, except for whiteout. So yeah, it's just hilarious how crappy this drawing is. So I wanted to start with it.
So what year did you do that?
So maybe
you were using Tumblr, so
yeah, using Tumblr. So I don't know, maybe 2012.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe 2012, but I don't know. And then this is the first longer comic I ever did, and it's really gross and disgusting. I'm very happy it's been long out of print. I got this. So I was into underground comics kind of deal, and this is obviously indebted to it. The East Village Other is a newsprint comic thing that they had that a lot of underground people did stuff for. So I was oh, it would be fun to take S. Clay Wilson's style and apply it to small dogs, So that's the idea for this one. So then here are some of the spreads. And this is the first time I'd done zines and stuff in college. This is the first time I was okay, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna actually do a 54-page comic book, I'm gonna do the whole thing, I'm gonna line it up. And also, this is the first thing that so I always draw with these pins. They're not rapidographs, but they are rapidographs. It's technically an isograph. But used to use these ones, Koh-i-Noor, but now the company, blah, blah, blah. The company got bought out, the pens suck now. Blah, blah, blah. Either way, this is the first thing I did with that pen, and that pen changed the game for me, because I was always using microns before, and microns, they're always dying, you're always having to buy more. I would call them cigarettes, because you're just doing them and then flicking them away. With this, now I have a pen that's fixed width, and everything is the same line width, which it turns out I fucking love, and that's my lifestyle, is just one width. And I only use one size of this pen, so I just have one pen, and that's my pen until it dies, which if I'm lucky, it'll be a year, but sometimes it's 6 months. I don't know.
What do you do the fills with?
The fills, I did them by hand.
With the same pen?
Yeah, with the same pen, going like this. Yeah. This is honestly, too, this one is really funny because this is before I used whiteout too. So in this one, all mistakes, I just had to live with it, which was insane. This one I did a bunch of pages and ditched them. It was stupid. And then I learned whiteout, and this is the second one I did where this second one was supposed to be like the first of like, I thought it's like a floppy, like an old school floppy where it's got like a glossy cover and black and white newsprint interior. And the other one was fake to look like newsprint. It was printed at like a regular ass copy shop on cream paper, which if you get any of my books upstairs, they're all on cream paper. I love cream paper. I don't give a fuck. Cream is my color. But yeah, so this is a floppy. And in my head when I did it, I was like, this is gonna be like a series that goes on for years and years and years. And of course I just made this one. It's 64 pages long and it's super gross. Like all these early comics are just disgusting. Because I don't know, I was like, nobody's doing this like, there's a funny animal genre where it's just like, there's Omaha the Cat Dancer. You guys know about this? I've been talking about this a lot. At Austin Books Comics, I made them like pull out what they had. It was like in a back box. It's disgusting, but it's honestly a good, like a cool story too, because it's a couple that made these books about this stripper cat, and this stripper cat has all these like soap opera like stuff, and so I loved those, and I was like, okay, like I'm gonna add my 2 cents to that like genre, which it turns out nobody cares about that genre except for me, and that was a weird mistake. So yeah, this is like some pages from it. Yeah, she's always, like, she's peeing here, she's changing outfits, she's dancing around, it's like, what the hell? Her name is Pepsi, and all these, like, electronic devices would be like, oh, sexy Pepsi, what are you doing now? Like, it was so stupid. But yeah.
How many did you print?
1,000. And I still actually have, like, I've thrown away boxes. Like, every couple years, I'll be like, it's time for a box to leave my house. And then, like, I think I have 1 box left, but, like, I don't want to sell it because I think the drawings are so whack. This, for some weird reason, this, you can't read it here, but this, like, bottle here says latrines, like it's Listerine. And this was this, like, Japanese comic that, like, I really, really loved, and I made it into an arcade machine for some fucking reason. But yeah, I don't know. And this was supposed to have like this narrator guy. It was just a fucking convoluted ass mess. And I made one and was like, okay. After that, I was like, I had done more, because I had 2 little books to sell. I'd done more like comic conventions, and I was like, all right, here's the rub. I need more showmanship in my life. We need some stuff to like sell stuff to people. So I was like, okay, the plot for this one is they're rejected cartoons from the New Yorker, and it included a rejection letter where I changed the editor's name from the New Yorker at the time, like Bob something. I made it off by 1 letter or whatever, and then had a rejection letter in there where it was just like, these are disgusting, what are you doing? These will never be in the New Yorker. And like, duh, they would never be in the New Yorker. But then people, hilariously at other comic sticks, people be like, oh, I already did a book where it was rejected cartoons from the New Yorker. I'm like, dude, these weren't ever even submitted. I never submitted these, nothing happened with them. This is the dumbest shit ever. Yeah, like comics like this, like really, so dumb and like that, like, yeah, right. So then after that, you know, I was still convinced that showmanship is what I needed. So this is like a parody of Understanding Comics, except it's Understanding Nicotine. And when I lived in Baltimore, I was a lab rat for all these nicotine studies. I was a control. So mainly it would be like heroin addicts, but like I did smoke at the time. And I thought that there was all this stuff where it was like vaping had started, and there was nicotine water or whatever. So I was like, oh man, it'd be great to do. I'm free of nicotine now. I quit like a year ago, and now my life is phenomenal without nicotine. It's really insane how nice my life is. Like I took a flight and I'm like not stressed when I get off. Like so many things are better. Like you eat a meal, you're not like rushing to go outside.
You can actually taste all the food.
Dude, yeah, it's the greatest thing ever to quit, it turns out. So it's hilarious that. So this will never be printed again. I'm really glad it no longer exists. And then it has great stuff where it was supposed to be like this doctor talking about our like alternative nicotine intake theory was the idea. This is a commercial for nicotine water, where this dog character is drinking nicotine water and looks over, and this girl is picking up a shell. And she listens to the shell, and then he gets taken by a wave and splashed, and then she picks up the sand and it falls through her hand, and then he's crying. Why would that be a commercial for nicotine water? I don't know. But I'm very happy that no longer exists. Oh, and here's another page from it where he talks about I got injected with liquid nicotine in the study, and that fucking did rule. I have to say, I really liked that a lot because it was like the cleanest way. Like you never get it straight in your bloodstream. It just felt amazing. So that was dope. I would highly recommend that. But now that I've quit, I'm obviously not going to IV it. So then this one's funny because it's like, oh hey, you can see this is the first thing I did in color or whatever, and this is also gross, completely crappy. Yeah, these guys are the little narrators, they're like juggalo demons or whatever, and you guys will see like throughout, like nowadays my stuff is really stretched out. Before I was drawing everybody like stumpy, and now like as I get older, the more and more everybody's legs get more stretched out, and hopefully you get to see some more stretch. But either way, I don't know what the fuck is going on this cover or whatever. Yeah, in this comic, the idea was that this robber came in to, he stole gear from this department store to cut off this statue's penis. I don't know why that was the thing, and he was cutting it off for that other guy. Great tale, amazing plot. I can't believe it wasn't a bestseller. What's up?
So I really love your color gradients. I'm not an artist by any means, but I wanted to ask, how did you get that kind of, like you said it was your first color comic, how did you get that color gradient in the last slide where it's like that sunset on the statue that had its penis cut off?
Oh, well here, let's go back. So just Photoshop, and it's Photoshop, and I did a bunch of scans of like really dirty paper too, and threw that on top. So like I stomped on a bunch of paper to make it like dirtier, and make it look like worse. So that's what all the texture is. But yeah, it's just Photoshop, which that's how I color everything. It's
That's
just
sick.
I draw everything in ink, and then scan it, and then color in Photoshop. I got CS5, it's still free. 2011 MacBook Pro. I do it where I'm laying down, computer's on my belly, happy as a clam. Because my drawing desk, I'm very stiff. I draw like this, like a little idiot. And then I'm like so happy to move to the coloring phase because I can move to a comfy chair, put the headphones on, which I got the headphones on the whole time, but chilling. So here, more color. And this, you're gonna be like, what happened here? There's a crazy jump. Maybe you don't think there's a crazy jump. I think there's a crazy jump. So randomly, this guy at Vice magazine, not the guy that's the main editor, a guy who got to be an editor on the weekends. This is my friend Zach Sokol. Zach's the man. Zach was like, I want Brian to do the comic because I'm in charge on the weekends. The other Vice comic guy was like, no way. I don't want that guy doing comics on the weekends. Zach was like, nah, he's doing comics on the weekend. He won. So I got to do stuff for Vice. I did a random comic every now and again. And then the main Vice guy, who also rules, really great guy. Turns out, I'm giving him a little shade right now, just because in the beginning he was not happy. He was like, okay, you can do a comic every week. So that was my first like gig. Besides like random, I've done album covers and like posters for bands all the time. But then I finally had a comics gig, and it was amazing. But guess how much it paid? $200 for 3 pages. And guess how long 3 pages took? 3 days at least. If not, actually, I could do it in 1.5 days if I stayed up all night, one night of the days.
Yeah.
So $200. Woo! Big major store. But I actually was in between jobs because I was doing window displays, and the woman screamed at me, and I had to leave. I guess I didn't have that job anymore for some reason. I guess because here's how it happened. Summertime, 120 degrees in there. I'm covered in sweat in this window display for 8 hours. One of the ladies in the front was like, yeah, that guy smells too bad, because I was vaping out there, and also because I was sweating in this metal box, like with the sun on me. And so they were like, yeah, you can't work here anymore.
You got a smell complaint?
Yeah, I got a smell complaint. You guys gotta give me a break.
Where was it?
It was at this pharmacy, Bigelow something, C.O. Bigelow's. It's a very famous pharmacy in the West Village or whatever. And I was just too stinky in the window. But I was like, please don't make me go in the window, it's 120 degrees. Why don't you let me come in the nighttime? Like, I want to come. Because it's too hot to be in here in the daytime. But they were like, we want people to see that you're like making the window display. And it's like, why would you do this to me? It's summertime, it's too hot in here. Of course I smell bad. It's too hot in here. Okay, so either way, I didn't have a job. So then I got $200 a week. And then Zach left Vice and started working for a marijuana magazine, and then they would also pay $200 a week. So I had 2 gigs like that. And if I got any other drawing gigs, that would just add to it. So I like had $800 guaranteed or something like that, and that was like a major coup for me. But also meant I had to make all these fucking comics, and like a lot of the plots of them, as you see in the plots, I'm not really that great at plots. I love these silly, dumb little characters like this. So this was the one for the marijuana magazine, and this is this dog, Frisbee the fire dog, and that was the first drawing, was this Frisbee the fire dog, and he smoked weed with these teen delinquents. These teen delinquents, he wouldn't give them weed, but the teen delinquents were always trying to smoke weed, and he would never let them. So, yeah, he's on this balloon talking about pot or whatever. I don't know why. That's the Pot magazine. Turns out it could be pro-marijuana or anti-marijuana. It didn't matter as long as it was about marijuana. That was the rules in the marijuana magazine. So here they are, blowing a gasket. Any activity can quickly turn from good to bad. That's why pot is medically designed to take the edge off. The teen delinquents are like, what the fuck are you talking about? Great, that's the kind of plot that I had for the marijuana magazine. And I don't know if they were ever like a hit or whatever. I think occasionally it would be fine enough. They would be like, who cares? Just give this idiot $200. Like, we don't really give a shit. Just give him $200 and get him the fuck out of here. So then this is Alphabet Junction was a strip I did for Vice, and it starred this guy, this girl Yorna, and Shmuley was her husband, and she was an accountant or whatever. And it was this cast of idiotic characters. This was their favorite TV show. It was called Dronjen v. Dronjen. And one was a deep sea fisherman, the other was a doctor, but at night they switched outfits and switched careers. So you never knew which one was which, you know? And so this was the kind of strips I did for Vice. You could see why they were just like, all right, $200 is probably the max for everything. So fucking, here they are switching outfits, and then they find a bat, and then they do the fucking, whatever you call that fucking, that Grant Wood piece. They're doing that, except these pieces. Yeah, in the thing. I really like that drawing where he's praying and the other one's watching him in the window. Putting dynamite in the toilet is funny. Uncovering them, Tutankhamun, and changing them to bushes, of course. And then, falling from the air, messing with a bomb. That same Robert from before, that guy, he was named something, he was a milk snatcher, and he would always get in trouble for stealing people's milk. Yeah, it was a huge cast of characters that nobody gave a fuck about. Doctoring, of course, they're at their own grave sites, shaking hands. Randomly, they're both deep sea fishermen. And the answer here is this seems really confusing, and Yorna says it's not confusing.
Can you still do whatever you want with this stuff, or does Vice own it?
No, I can do whatever I want with it, but yeah, Vice. I have to put originally published by Vice. That's the only. That's the only qualm. And so when I did my book Bicycle Day, basically the book company they have now was like, oh, we'll just reprint all your Vice strips, and I was like, please don't do that. It was so bad. Because I had to come up with a whole thing like in a week, every week, like. And I don't think I'm built for that. I think it rules, and I love that, but I don't know if that's for me, because these plots were just like a nightmare. Maybe if I was like a newspaper guy or something like 40 years ago it would work, but no dice. I don't think so. I don't think I ever got it in me to do it. So here's another Vice strip, and this is a later one, and this one's got better coloring. This is Corn Hatch, this is Corn Patch, and I did a free newsprint thing that was 64 pages for this comic book store, Desert Island. And it's the same guy, Corn Hatch, but and he's working in the party patch, whatever, and he grows these Grateful Dead bears, blah blah blah. Either way, I like the way this dog looks. He's not a cop in the Corn Hatch's party patch, but here he is a cop. And Yorna is like, what the fuck are you doing? You're getting garden stuff, and then he grows. He doesn't want to be a cop anymore, so he wants to be a farmer. Here he is, like watching the plants grow, night, rain. Snow, the rainbow, the birds, and then he gets sadder and sadder as he goes, and then he shoots his plants. So, dumb. Then, okay, during this Vice time, I got asked to do 2 risograph zines or whatever for 2 different, like, they're not companies. They're like people that run like a little press, like people have upstairs, One is called Tan and Loose, and I didn't know the guy before. His name's Clay. He's the man. And this is, I think these are cool to show because it's like I learned a whole different thing about color doing risograph. Like I didn't know I don't know, like Photoshop stuff, I'd never thought too hard about. I'd done silk screens, of course, the whole time, and I know how to do silk screens really well, but like risograph is a whole different thing. And this is another pretty fucking ridiculous idea where the idea here is it's a user guide for the 64th iPhone, and you crush it with a hammer and then snort it, and then and you go on an adventure with this little freaky guy, you know? So like here, and it has like all these like little text things, like text over there, doing this little dance, which you remember from the Hyper Maze thing. I always love a character doing a flip like this. It's one of my favorite things to draw. So yeah, pray for your new iPhone 64. And here they are playing sax while they lower the flag. Fucking pretty dumb. But yeah, I don't know. In the back, I'm like, think about how cool it would be if you had a weird guide for a fax machine like this. Like, it's the weirdest. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. It was crazy. But then the book company I have now, they were like, oh, we like that zine you made. Will you make one for us? So this is another character from the Vice days. His name's Zax, and he's a surfer. And so this is a whole surfing book. And this one has these basically this shifting character that narrates the thing. Like there's a random character in the corners or whatever that changes shape. Not confusing at all. And Zax goes and he goes out, he drinks a beer, he hits the water, this walrus waves him on, And this, I'm like, this is how, the reason I thought it was fun to show this is because the books they have now, they do have panels in places, but really this is where I was like, oh my God, doing a strip and then really going weird with the drawing, that might be the most fun thing for me ever. And I had never thought to do that before this. It just didn't feel like this size worked for panels, So you could either do, iPhone had a couple panel things, and still I use panel things, but mainly it's this spread style. And I just love doing the spread style. So I just think a big drawing like that is you can throw so much weird stuff and so much side detail into things like that sometimes you miss in panels. But yeah, and then he surfs and goes under the wave. And, he's under it. There you go. Don't drown. All the fish. And then I always like these kind of gags like this, where it's the craziest part of the strip is I don't know how to swim. It's you just always do a little rug pull at the end, which I don't think anybody gives a fuck about. Or it's funny for anybody, but whatever. So then now we're Bicycle Day, and as you can see, it's the spread. I guess I did put newer work in here. Book that's upstairs, but yeah, it's you can see a clear line from the spread before, this kind of deal to this kind of deal, or that kind of deal, or that, or that, or that. Yeah, this is all from Bicycle Day. Turns out I did put a lot of newer stuff in here too. I thought I did, but in here, this is from the second book, big spread. I love a couple looking out at the expanse because. Whenever I look at an expanse, it never looks like this, but it's nice to imagine that it could. And this is a whole section where Valentina recounts how she became interested in mushrooms from the second book. And there's another. This is actually the Brooklyn Heights Promenade, which didn't exist in their time, but it's one of my favorite places to go in New York. And yeah, the city doesn't look like that right now either. And those buildings are farther. I condensed Midtown and Lower Manhattan into one. I don't give a shit what it actually looks like. Yeah, second book, watercolors. The rub here is, first book, this is always fun to tell people. And Joe from Awesome Books Comics had a fun time pitching people to this because I guess this isn't obvious. I thought this would be obvious. So this first book is about LSD, right? And the atmospherics or the big fireworks in this book are neon Pantones. And neon inks like LSD were created in a lab. And they were created around the same time. So that's why I was like, oh shit, there's a clear line between substance and medium here. And so for second book, it also makes it fun too, because then you have a game and rules to how you make this fucking book. Because it's you have to do a lot of work to make a book. It's good to know what the confines are, So in the second book, because it's a natural substance like psilocybin, we use watercolor. It's me. I use watercolor. Who the fuck is we here?
All of us did that.
Yeah, y'all did a great job. Maybe, I don't know. I use watercolors because, like naturalists, like they were amateur mycologists, right? So like naturalists have always used watercolors because they're quick and easy. You can take them into the field, and the idea was that like watercolors too are like a natural. They used to be made from natural means always, like there's a famous story about the Turner elephants, like the Turner yellow. You guys know Turner, James W. Turner?
Yeah.
It's really funny in the comics. They'll be like, y'all know Turner? Like, turns out that yellow is from a certain type of elephant that was just fed mangoes and then peed on a certain type of sulfur, and that's what made the Turner yellow. Watercolors are a fascinating thing. There's Mazatec Indians and more watercolors. I'm gonna go through this fast because I've just been yakking, and I don't want to ruin the surprises of these books. But then third book, the big atmospherics are airbrush, and the rub is too. Honestly, I hope that this might not get across because the earlier work, I don't know if it's feels as fun as like my newer work. But like the main goal in my life as far as drawing goes is I want to learn new things about drawing. I want to draw things that hopefully can expand out, or maybe hit some people that aren't like interested in comics or whatever, and B, tell these stories like as simply and as quickly and just as easily as possible. But then if you go back into it, you can see like let's say you read like any of John C. Lilly's books or any of the Watson's books, you'd like uncover all these other details because like I hid as many Easter eggs as I could, and that's what's nice about the spread style is you can hide things in there. You can every little detail. I tried to make it like there's a reason or a purpose, and that makes it more fun because a lot of times I'm like, what the fuck do I draw? And then it's like you have a game and a system and a huge list of notes. You have tons of inspiration to go with. So this third book, for the big atmospherics, I use airbrush because...
Like an actual airbrush?
Yeah, an actual airbrush. And I learned how to do it for this book. I'd never done it before.
That's awesome.
I did airbrush mainly because this guy, John C. Lilly, he was trying to teach dolphins to speak English. And he conned Carl Sagan, but he got Carl Sagan and Frank Drake and this whole gang of astrophysicists to convince NASA to give him the money to do it, right? And Carl Sagan has a guy, John Lomberg. John Lomberg is Sagan's illustrator of choice, and he always does these cosmic airbrushes for Sagan. And Lilly doesn't have a cosmic airbrush guy until right now. I'll take that mantle from you, John. Let's go. So now I learned how to do all this cosmic airbrush stuff. And now it's funny, and you can see, hopefully you can see me getting better at it as the book goes. It turns out it was really hard. It wasn't easy. And so yeah, this is the Earth, and there's John C. Lilly, and his book is the main book I use for this, The Scientist. It starts with the birth of the universe, and that is the most insane way to start an autobiography I've ever encountered in my life. Who the fuck does that? My boy John C. Lilly does. That's who does it. So then he's born, and his head is in Minnesota. That's where he was born, and then it expands out in the place in Minnesota. But yeah, that's him as a little dog fetus, because it's very funny. You have to think about, if you put them as a fetus, you can think of them about them being a dog later. That's the other rub is, you might be like, what the fuck is up with this guy and dogs, and why has he done this thing with dogs? And I have no really good, clear answer. Later on, number one, I do love the funny dog genre, and I think that's the best genre. Number two, I love Carl Barks, and I do like to think these exist in the Scrooge McDuck universe. Like Scrooge McDuck is doing all of his ventures in the same time that John C. Lilly is teaching dolphins to speak English, trying to teach dolphins to speak English. And third, it's just too fucking late for me now. I've been drawing people more recently because the New York Times refuses to have dog people, and they're like, nah, this isn't for the gray lady. So it turns out, instead of doing a dog person like that, you just ditch the snout and just give them a round nose. And human ears and a round nose is the exact same. Crazy. Who would have thought that? But here's more. Lilly is kind of known for popularizing ketamine, or writing the first books about ketamine, but also being a complete, wild man. So here's him. He invented the isolation tank too. So it's a lot of inner outer space and just this kind of shit. Here he's injecting. That's kind of how they did the liquid nicotine to me. They injected it in an IV just like that, but he did a ketamine drip so he could control how wild he would get with it. And because the isolation tank, the other couple games in here is the isolation tank is all about splashing little dots. Have you ever been in one? And you're like, oh, I'm really stuck in here. And then you're like, when things like open up, like you start seeing stuff, it's like this massive expanse, like your brain is like, you know. So that's the other idea here is like, it's big expanses like, yeah, big expanses like this, and then tiny panels like this. So it's like you get the claustrophobic, and then you get the opening up, like, yeah, he's just taking ketamine up there and dripping through it. Yeah, real tight. And then black and white too. Black and white seems like the isolation tank to me, and ketamine to be honest, but whatever. Oh yeah, NTC line. T. Grind uses dolphin to speak. Margaret really did put on like clown lipstick so that Peter the dolphin could see her lips, you know, and it's really disturbing. Yeah, here, this is more from Lily Wave. And yeah, just, I guess, how long have we been going? Are we getting like close to the end? Because now we're getting into like newer work and...
We got 22 minutes.
Okay, cool. Screw it. Let's keep going. Why not? All right. So yeah, so like throughout my life too, like I've been lucky enough to like, the books don't make like, you know, amazing money or like live on money. So like I've been doing one every other year, and like in between like doing like album covers for people. So like, you know, these are 2 album covers for this band North Americans. It's my buddy Patrick, and I really like these. And these are 2 for the book company, kind of based on Smile a little bit, you know, the Smile cover by Brian Wilson. It's a collection of like nuggets from like 60s and 70s, like songwriters or whatever, and front of the store, back of the store. It's first record, second record. I don't know, it's nice to have records that look alike. These were for the Grateful Dead. I did their Lyceum show. And this is funny too, like, I guess it's not really gonna come across in this thing, but like throughout my life, like, I've been taking gigs for people, like mainly music things, just to like make money. And like, when you do start making like, even if it's 200 fucking bucks, if you start making like a little bit of money drawing, like, you read it better, you're more like invested in it, and B, I just like changed my whole life, because it's like getting paid to draw like made me value drawing in a different way. Even though I always loved to draw, it's just like, I don't know, it's just I got so much better. And also that like Vice thing where it was a nightmare and I had to do 3 pages every week, or 6 pages Vice and Mary Jane, I got a million times better like drawing that way, because it was just so hard and so long, and staying up all night and drawing. Like, I haven't done an all-nighter in a while, and I'm like grateful for every day I don't have to do a fucking all-nighter, because all-nighter low. But whenever I do a book, like the last month is always all-nighters. Like, it's all-nighters all the time, and it sucks that like it's you know, I do like have like a great living now and an amazing life, but like sometimes drawing is really hard. Like my like pinky here like has this major callus on it. It's awful. Sometimes it like hurts so bad. Like, this is humiliating. But, you know, I'm not digging ditches, so who gives a shit? All right. And then this is fun. This is like the latest bigger thing I've done. This is a cover for Goose. And I'm only showing this because this took like a month and a half to do front and back. It took 3 weeks to do this front, and it was a nightmare. So I just need to show it to people because fucking it took too long.
How big is the original?
18 by 18 inches. So pretty big, but like, yeah, it was fucking brutal. Turns out doing this Where's Waldo shit sucks. They were like, can you do Where's Waldo? And I was like, duh, that's not gonna be a fucking problem. And then like 3 weeks later, I'm like, so fuck, I have to do a back, what the hell? There's the back. Honestly, the back came out a million times better, because I learned all the mistakes I learned doing the front, I got to apply to the back. So I was like, oh damn, back is tighter. And then it was supposed to even have more characters in the middle. And we were like, oh, we need room to like put the names. I'm like, don't say less, people. Just say less. Done. So yeah, there you go. And then these are posters. This one I had for sale yesterday, but I sold that. Tame Impala. I do posters for people all the time. These are silk screens. Silk screens are fun. I fucking love silk screens. I got these 2 for sale upstairs. Sylvan SL, Austin City Limits. This poster's fun because so my brother-in-law, his fiance, loves this band Sylvan SL, and I was like, Josh, and my brother-in-law, pick 2 critters for Megan that you like, and I'll throw them in the poster, mainly because I'm out of ideas, but also because it'll be dope for you. And he was like, you'll look good, this isn't dope for me, and I'll be like, nah, dude, it's gonna be sick for you. Just let it ride. And they were happy, she was very happy. I've never gotten to do that before or since, so that's why we're good. King Gizzard, Dead and Co, Fleet Foxes, Fish. There you go, Fish.
How did the jam bands find you?
Jam bands, I think I did a series of covers for George Clanton and Nick Hexum from 311.
Oh.
And I don't know if I even have those in this fucking slideshow. I think that's how Mike Gordon did something with Nick Hexum, I think. Maybe. I don't know. But something like that. But either way, it's not like I talked to them. I talked to, all these bigger bands have an art director. Except for actually, King Gizzard's very funny because you talk to their bass player. They have too many members. And the bass player is like, no, I don't want to deal with this. It's very funny. It's very funny because the art directors know everything to do or whatever, but then if it's a random band member, they usually don't know as much. Or, they're like, what are you talking about? For this one, actually, so this is some inside baseball, I usually get paid like an art fee, and then you get paid, for jam bands you get paid in APs, right? So you have a set number of prints you get paid in, and then you sell those prints, and you make way more money than you would make if they just paid you $500 or $1,000, right? Because a Dead and Company print, it sells for $70 a pop, and they give you 100. That's $7,000. That's awesome. That's a major come up for my dumb ass. So King Gizzard, because it was the bass player, they were like, we'll pay you $500. And I was like, hell no, dude. What you're gonna do is you're not gonna pay me nothing. You're gonna give me 50 posters. And they were like, I don't know if we can do that. And I was like, all right, you're gonna give me 100. And they were like, okay, 50 works. And then the guy who printed them did send me 100 because he's a fucking man. So I had a bunch of those to sell, and I was happy with that. I don't know. It's very fun. I don't know. So just that's a word to the wise. You ever get a job from a band, even in indie rock bands, they can't pay you in 100, but they'll pay you 25 probably, and it's a sick thing to have. And you can sell them online or have some for events and shit. It's sick. It's sick to have a pile. Friends are into it. It's the whole thing. Future Islands. I've known these guys for a long time, so I just had to throw it in here. I don't know why it's circus theme here. These are all things from New Album.
Yeah, do they come back with notes on stuff like this?
No, so Fish would. Fish has a lot of notes.
So what could they possibly be? What's a note on that?
Well, so I don't have the other one I did for Fish, but they don't want any aquatic animals. They don't want fish on the poster. Goose doesn't want goose on the cover on the geese poster. Pigeons playing ping pong doesn't want pigeons. That's the way to do it. For this shit, for the other poster I did for them, they made me change Crocs to Chuck Taylors. That was an odd request. I don't know why. I thought Crocs would work.
Trey hates Crocs.
Trey hates Crocs. Yeah, they send you an email with do's and don'ts. It's not that crazy, but the art director there makes you work a bit more. And usually, some art directors that have been in the game for a bit, they know not to stress you out too bad, but they will make sometimes they'll have chill things, and other times they won't. Other times you'll be like, this is arbitrary as fuck, it makes no sense. Why are you doing this to me? But still you do it because it's part of the life. You do whatever everybody says, because who gives a shit what you want? You're alive. That's all you can ask for. So yeah, this one we had to change a bunch. Actually, this one had a lot of changes. I had to make I do the cityscape twice because it needed to be more at an angle, and they didn't want the color pink in this one. So you can see why is that pig teal? It's because it used to be pink. They said pink doesn't sell as well, so I don't know, whatever. But that one, the ice was all printed in metallic ink, so I think it came out really pretty. And they used my favorite print shop, which is this print shop in South Carolina. They're extreme pros, and I like them a lot. Yeah, Future Islands though, they're sick. They have no notes. They rock. Their issue is I hate doing type text like this, but these dates, they're whoa, dude, we gotta do date change. Nah, we're not writing them all out. If they have date changes, fuck that. We're not writing them out again. Goddamn, writing stuff out. I wrote these out because these were finalized, and then they promised they wouldn't change them. So there's Goose. These are shirts. The shirts are I do shirts too, and that's another extension of the work, and I try to make that as fun as possible and make them look fucking shirts you get at the mall, at some at I don't know, some kind of school field trip or something. But yeah, and then I get to draw all the fucking critters, and I love critters. So here's an undersea one. This one is the One World Water Symphony Orchestra that they're playing. My wife had a theory that there's no such thing as like individual oceans, it's just one world water, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna make a shirt about that. So that's what this is. And you can see that Zach Wax, I did all these fish like this. I love drawing a bunch of fucking fish. I'm learning about all the different animals.
Wait, you actually airbrushed that shirt too, right?
Yeah. My wife did that actually.
She airbrushed every single one?
Yeah, so we used to tie-dye all the shirts, and then we fucked up my parents-in-law's like washer and dryer, so we had to buy them a new one, and that really ruined our profits. So we were like, well, I guess we're not gonna die for like a minute, so you're trying to figure out new stuff to do. So yeah, here's a frog one. This pond is funny. Before I was allowed to get married to my current wife, my wife's family made me dig this pond in their house in Connecticut or whatever. It was a hole filled with mud, and then I love this pond. It took like 2 weeks of work. It was brutal. I had to wake up at 6 a.m. every day and like ended at 9. And my wife cried one time. She's like, "Why are you making me, Brian, do this?" She was like, "Please don't make him do this." And I was like, "It doesn't matter. It's getting done." Because like my mother-in-law was like, we can't have the wedding up here with this pit filled with mud. That's what the pond looked like. And I was like, nah, it's not gonna be a pit filled with mud. It's gonna be a beautiful pond. And so I made this fucking pond work. And then the second you put water in it, the exact day they put water in it and got the waterfall going, I buried the waterfall. I learned a lot about ponds. I should have fucking made the waterfall much higher, blah, blah, blah. You need to know a lot about ponds before you make one, because it turns out you can't do anything once you've made it. First pond, not a big deal. But either way, when the waterfall started going and the water was in there, day one, frogs showed up and they moved into the pond, and so I drew this pond live in front of the pond. I love this fucking pond, and these are all the frogs going in. The idea here is if you add water to a hole, frogs show up. So yeah. Oh man, yeah, this one's supposed to be like, sometimes for shirts, like the way I come up with ideas, I'll go to eBay and I'll look at vintage shirt and I'll type highest to lowest, and I'll try to see like what people are trying to sell a shirt for like $1 million. And somehow like these dumb like biker shirts are always like $1 million. So I was like, oh, I should make a biker shirt, that'd be funny. And then what goes with a biker? Oh, Jay Leno. So it's waxing J and then a full J on the back. You got double J. Yeah, great. And his the back of his motorcycle jacket says late night. And this is an MC Osher ripoff. I always wanted to do. See, this is also what's fun about like my life now is like there's a bunch of drawing stuff that I never could pull off when I was in high school, and like now I'm like I should try that. I might be able to pull that off, and I'm like, holy shit, it looks kind of like it. What the fuck? So like this, I was trying to do the MC Escher like classic, but then I put this koala on the arm, and this other bear is here. And there's these climbing gyms in Brooklyn that I've never been to, but like I walk by them and you look inside and it feels very Escher-like. You're like, what the hell is going on in here? So these critters are all climbing like above this like, you know, the classic like geese into fish kind of deal, and I don't know. They're all just climbing in this MC Escher thing. But what's fun about this is we used a well silkscreen we use one well here and then 2 competing wells for this one. So when Roy G. Biv and then V, and then one was green and one was teal, you know? So it's just competing rainbows. My buddy Brendan, who does the silk screening on these, I used to silk screen them at my house. Like the first like 2, I did them at my house and I had to shower with the silk screen. And like doing multiple colors like sucked. I didn't have a space for it. I just fucking was trying to do it in my house. And so my buddy Brendan was like, he randomly messaged me and was like, oh, I'm starting like a silkscreen thing. And I was like, let's start making fucking shirts. And he does such great work. He's such a pro. Love working with him. Yeah, he's the man. And it's great. And it's great to have a long like working relationship with like one guy.
If you haven't seen them, there still might be 2 upstairs, and I would recommend taking a look at them regardless of whether or not you're interested in purchasing them, because Brian sells, when he does a drop on his website, you can see the quality of it here, so that when one pops up that you want to get, you know that it will be awesome.
Yeah, and I just like to show these off because these are like, you know, when I'm not doing a book, like this is kind of like what I'm like putting a lot of like my like creative like juices into, and I don't know, I'm just like happy with these drawings. I do them like actual size, like they're 15 by 20 or slightly bigger. Like same with the posters, they're all done like the actual size because I only use one kind of pen. I only use one pen, you know, so I just like to have it the right size, and it's the most fun. Oh yeah, like here, the idea with this one is. You know the sculptor Brancusi? This is Brancusi skiing, you know, so all these pictures of skiing by Brancusi sculptures. And here's the kiss right here. And in the back, all the critters are in the kiss hot tub. And there, we did that like, that snowflake and puffing, you know, so it's all these little puffy snowflakes. I don't know, whatever. I just like to have fun with these fucking things. And this one's for sale upstairs. It's the Banana Computer Company. It's a sequel to the Apple Computer Company.
Most of these have long sleeve, like sleeve designs as well.
Oh, yeah, I max them out. Everyone's got a custom tag, and they're like expensive, but it's like, I gotta pay my buddy Brendan like a full, like Brendan's gotta get paid right. I'm not fucking cheaping out on Brendan. Brendan's a man. And he's like made my life so sick. Just having a silkscreen like guy that like is in my town, I can go and like check out how it's working and like talk to him about stuff, and we come up with like, he'll use my like shit to like show off to other clients like new stuff he wants to do, you know? So like this one was glow in the dark, which we've done glow in the dark in a long time, but we hadn't done, the glow in the dark layer was kind of like a gross chemical before, like the first time we did it, and I wasn't happy with it. But then we found this glow in the dark that was water based. And this one, the idea was, so Luray Caverns in Virginia, they have this organ in the cavern. And it hits the stalactites and makes different tones, like the stalactites are toned to different notes or whatever. And that guy's name was Leland W. Sprinkle. So I put the Pillsbury Doughboy covered in sprinkles there playing his organ. And all these colors besides black glow in the dark, so like the rainbow completes, you know, in the dark. And in the back, it's all the gems and minerals I can fucking think of. Because the other thing I really love is like, you know, I love like 18th century naturalists who like, we're obsessed with like one category of the natural world and like try to draw like every piece of it. Like this is based on this guy like Edward Sowerby's kind of drawings. And some I just made up, you know, but like, you know, just doing as many of an object. Cause then like the more objects you draw, like the more you're integrating like, and you're just learning so much more about drawing like yourself and everything else. Like drawing a ton of one object is like the greatest thing you can do, I think. I love it. And then do it as a shirt, like, all right, great. This one makes no sense. I did it, that same kind of idea here, but this one's like Worm World, and this worm, the world goes through the wormhole, and then the worm gets reincarnated and escapes reincarnation. I have no idea. I'm out of my mind now. This one, I randomly watched like a YouTube thing on barn stars, and then learned all about barn stars, and then drew this whole shirt, and it's supposed to be Pennsylvania Dutch hardcore, so like Dutch hardcore is like Gabber, you know, and they're this elephant's DJing, you know, Pennsylvania Dutch hardcore for all the fucking critters. You just draw these same critters over and over again, but I don't tire of them, and I add more all the time, and it's fun. This pig is painting one of them. You paint them in a circle, and you like spin it around, and it's just like, that's another thing is like, if I can learn how to do something new while I'm making one of these shirts, that's fucking a win-win for me. And I feel like that like goes with like my mantra of like, you know, drawings that like aren't like, you know, for like a bigger purpose like a book or whatever, they should be fun, and people looking at them should feel like the fun of you having the drawing. Like those are my favorite kind of drawings. There's this guy, Suguru, he's like a Japanese cartoonist, and his drawings are so fucking fun. And his stuff doesn't look anything like mine, but whenever I look at his, I just like smile, because I'm like, this guy had so much fun doing this crap. And I just hope that like that comes across when my show all the time. So then this one's for sale upstairs too. It's Lou Reed. Because I have a kid now, there's a Lou Reed album that's like his personal Tai Chi soundtrack. It's his last album before he died. And I played that for the kid all the time to get him to go to sleep. And then I was like, oh shit, I should make a shirt with Lou Reed. This one was not as popular as the other ones because it turns out like portraits of people, like I'm always shocked if I can do a portrait and it kind of looks like the person. I don't even know if this looks like Lou Reed. A couple people were like, who's that lady you put on the shirt? Fuck.
I wore that to Whole Foods, and the seafood guy was like, "Oh, lovely, Reed."
Oh, that's great. Thank God.
Yeah.
Yes. Some people have mocked it. Other people have been like, no. There's a cover for his album Coney Island Baby where he does that with the hat, and I always thought that cover was hilarious. Yeah, and that album's great. So I don't know. This is just this Tiger Tai Chi is the idea here. And that crane is going up. That crane is taking that frog up to heaven, and he's giving the peace sign as he goes. And this, I don't know why I included this just for fun, because I don't know that many people have seen it. And also for these illustration kids, like I was like, well, I don't know why I included this one, to be honest. I guess this is just because this is a weird one that like I thought they were gonna produce way more of them, and it turns out they only made like 5 like for their stores. Like this not book company, this sweater company was like, oh, we want you to make a children's book for our stores, and they paid me a good amount, and then fucking everybody was like, can we buy this children's book? And then it turns out, no, you can't. So it turns out it's better to like know more about what you're getting into. I guess that was what I was trying to tell these kids. It's like, here's a lesson for you. Find out what they're gonna do before you say yes. But it was easy to do. Like it turns out this wasn't hard at all for me, and it was chill, and it's all like this like little touch shit. That's why the sweater company wanted it, is they wanted you to be able to
It's like
touch
a
the
board
cashmere. Yeah, for
Did
sure.
they apply that?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
made it for real. Like
Yeah.
they got it made. I guess too, it was also extremely expensive
Mm.
because it's cashmere they were using as the fucking touch thing. So I guess it makes sense they didn't make more than like 5, you know? They gave me one, so I scanned it. There you go. Occasionally I'll show people at the house and they'll be like, Ryan, this is fucking weird that you made this. But you only have this one copy. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Oh, and this was a free newsprint I did. And I only showed this off too. I wish I had more of these. Desert Island, this comics company, they made like, 3,000 of them and gave away for free at their store. And this I did during the pandemic, so I spent way more fucking time on it than I should have. For a free thing, it was like insane the amount of work I did on this, but also I'd always wanted to do something with these Grateful Dead bears, and I had this fantasy that like I would be like, yo, there's a Blomerth bear now. The Blomerth bear's in the mix, and it turns out no Grateful Dead people give a fuck at all. They don't care. I've done these like stretched out Grateful Dead bears. There was just complaints, and they were weirded out by it. The couple times I got to work with them, they've all been weirded out that I made these stretched out Gumby Grateful Dead bears that look more like dogs, But see, this is Cornhatch the cop, and now he's in the party patch. He's no longer a cop. He works in this thing, and these Grateful Dead bears, they grow out of like a cabbage patch, and then once they're grown, they have to choose their color. And actually, this kind of thing, oh, here's him popping out the fucking plant. Yeah, there he goes, whoosh, bam. And he's rainbow, but then after he goes through trials and tribulations, he gets to do his color. And so this is something that like I wish, hopefully I get to do this more often. I want to fucking like do more just like silly fucking, just silly things, but it's like, silly things never set the world on fire like I want them to, And they're never like, nobody's really as excited, so that's kind of my cross to bear right now. But hopefully one day I get something silly enough that like that can connect with other people enough to where people care. But whatever, it don't matter. Oh yeah, so he was supposed to, the plot of this I'm actually happy with too. Unlike most of my Vice strips, this one I actually like really thought about the fucking plot, but nobody gave a fuck. So this one, once the guy is born, Cornhatch fucking has a big bottle of alcohol. This testin juice is what it's called. And he drinks the testin juice and then gets naked. And then I saw people do this at a rave where they like they stand behind Cornhatch and push him into a blanket, and then wrap him up because he's acting too wild at the party. And then here they're whispering to him because this guy, the newborn, the rainbow one, sees the newborn and places in the traditional garb for banishment. And here his pants fall down. But yes, because this new one didn't help, And the new one watches, and all the other ones, he watches them like play from like a distance, and he's banished, and he's upset about it. But then he watches all the other ones go, and they have to go across the river to seize this fucking beam. Because in the beginning, you see that these bears grow from a magic beam. I can see why the Grateful Dead Empire. This is the other reason why it was free, is because there was like no way I was gonna get fucked by the Grateful Dead Empire. I can't sell this ever. And this whole idea was utterly insane. I guess here's the rub. Here's what really went down. is fucking, I need silly shit in my life, and I love to make silly shit, but I know it doesn't sell, and I know it's insane, so I was like, oh fuck, I can get rid of all my silly shit in this free one. So I did way more work than anyone's done for this free newsprint in the course of its whole history.
Does Gabe let you do whatever you want?
Gabe let me do whatever the fuck I want. And also, most people, like, they reprint stuff that's, like, older. So Gabe was like, Brian, what the hell? Nobody's ever done a full thing for this newsprint. That isn't, like, an older thing. Oh, yeah, and here he gets to pick his color, blah, blah, blah. So he picks his color, and a bunch of great references that nobody cares about, and he sets himself on fire. But then he chooses the color, and, you know, he says all this elaborate stuff about the color. He doesn't know what color he wants to be, and so then Cornhatch chooses the color gray for him. Which is my favorite kind of gag, like the rug pull. And there's them all partying at the end. On the back, I made fun of Gabe a little bit. You know, yeah. Words and images combined to mock me, my favorite store. That's the comics way. I bring my most beautiful friend there, and Gabe doesn't have any music, so I put I'm afraid of music, so my favorite store doesn't have any. Oh, and I stink to show support for my favorite store. Gabe was like, Brian, seriously? And I was like, yep. So yeah, I don't know. And that's it. That's what I got. We got time for questions or yet too much?
We started like just a little late, so I think we could take a couple if you guys have questions.
It's okay, cool. Let's go.
Was Peter Max one of your biggest influences?
I love Peter Max for sure, especially his like pen and ink work. His pen and ink work is phenomenal. I actually saw in New York City a month ago, I saw a Bentley, a silver Bentley, on like parked on the side of the road with the vanity tag Peter Max. And it's got to be him. It's a beautiful, beautiful car. I went, oh my god! But I don't think he can drive anymore. But still, I was like, the assistant took it to their house. Shocking.
How do you get those vivid colors that just pop out?
It's Photoshop, but I'm a big swatch. Like, I have colors that I love, and it's the same colors over and over again. And I rarely add a new color. I add a new color maybe once a month. Or if that, maybe every 6 months. Never add a new color. I got colors that I love, and I stick with them.
Okay, and then the cream paper, is there a brand and a type that, or just any cream?
No, the last one, this one, I don't know. Oh, this one would just be my stock cream. So this is just a Photoshop cream, but it was printed on newsprint, so then I had the cream. So I removed the cream, then they print it on the newsprint, you know? This cream is just my stock cream. The paper, the books, I wanted the like it's soft touch cover, but then the inside I wanted it to be kind of rough, so you had two different textures, you know? It's the kind of shit you talk about when you make a book. It's really funny. So you're like, oh, it's like butter on the outside and sandpaper on the inside. And the other people at the book company are like, is this something you actually want, or is this something that just sounds good? And I'm like, I think both. I think both, why not, right? Like, well, sure, okay. So there you go. So I don't know what kind of paper. It's kind of up to dealer's choice or the lifestyle or whatever God intends.
Are you printing that color on that paper?
No, not for that one.
No, for the anthology.
No, that one is just I removed the color. I worked with the color on too because I kind of hate the color white on my computer screen. Like the color white is just like too fucking much of that.
And let them print it on the color.
Exactly. Yeah, you drop it when you.
How did you break into doing art for kind of like bigger bands like Grateful Dead and Fish? Was it like they saw your work and then they were like, oh my god, that guy fucks?
Yeah, just like it was just drips and like doing stuff for like, you know, any band at first and then like, you know, slightly more curated but then also not curated at all. Like any band that could pay like enough to make it work, you know, and then like that just gradually just worked into the thing. It was a long road. It was a long road just doing stuff for free all the time and then any friend that would ask me would be like, duh, of course I'm gonna do that, until it was like paid and then, you know, bigger bands that just like happened, like there was not a single thing, anything I think that's like, oh, this is gonna be great for me, it never fucking is. Like anytime, if I do like, you know, I did this work for this like bigger skate brand and I thought that was gonna be bigger and then, you know, nothing happened with that. I get dropped from work a lot, like I'll still get paid sometimes, like most of the time, so who cares, but it's also like, oh, that would have been nice to do, I don't know why I got dropped, because sometimes you get dropped for like arbitrary reasons, you know, and it's like, whatever. Nothing you can do about it. I'm kind of, sometimes I say to my wife I'm the king of getting dropped, but I have no idea if I am. Or I never get dropped in it, or if like, you know, it's rare, or everybody gets dropped, I have no clue. everybody's hush-hush about it in the illustration world except for me, and I'm like, I got dropped, man. They're like, what? I think most people don't, but whatever. Sometimes you get dropped, ain't no thing. My work is so specific too that I get dropped, it's like, it's not personal.
No.
It like turns out like, you know, if they're still gonna pay me, who cares? Cause it's like, I have so much shit I wanna do that's for me, you know? Like, getting paid is just a way to like do work for me too, you know? Just having fun and working, that's it.
Hell yeah.
So yeah.
Do you have any cross-hatching or hatching techniques that you use, or is that?
I rarely hatch. I'm like more of a clean line guy. Like I love just the clean line, except I got a couple, there's one poster upstairs that I did a lot of hatching, and sometimes I'll become a stifling jerk. I'll do a lot of dots, and then I always regret it halfway through, but I'm stuck in it, you know? Sometimes I end up doing a lot of dots and I regret it, but other times it's worth it to do a lot of dots, you know?
I just noticed with the SRS when the globe with the hands and nose showed some volume.
It had a lot of dots. That was the rub. That was the one I did a lot of dots on. I'm not really big of a hatcher. I would love to do some more hatching stuff, and that's another good thing that'd be cool to learn. Actually, for one shirt, I did a lot of hatching recently. I do it sometimes. Yeah. That's the answer.
I think it's the last question.
Cool.
Related to the dots, have you ever tried doing anything similar to like Kirby Crackle?
What's Kirby Crackle? I don't know what that is.
In his, the comics where he did that to show cosmic effects, it shows different little dots of varying sizes going out.
Like Zipatone.
Yeah, I guess.
Kind of. Yeah, Zipatone would be cool. I have a friend who uses that all the time, but I've just never. That's like another like vintage like thing that's like, I guess, but I have enough crap right now. Maybe one day it'll be an all Zipatone like affair. That is not a bad idea to be honest, but I don't know. Maybe not. Yeah, I'll probably do it. Fuck it. Now you said it, I might do it. Yeah, that's gonna happen.
Man, that was awesome. Thank you so much for going through all that.
Everything. If you guys haven't been to Austin Books Comics, it's phenomenal. It's really, really, really wild. I had a great time going there. I was shocked by the way it is. It's dope. Yeah. So that's it. That's my big plug for Austin.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.